going was not the same places as many of us have been or have ever gone, because the doses that he was taking were taking him beyond the human, beyond this reality, beyond this constellation and solar system, to places so unimaginable and strange, as he has said. That has not, the science fiction movies are agog to the information that he has brought back. They don't even capture a 1,000th of the magic. Doctor Strange, the stuff you see on 20 grams of mushroom make Doctor Strange look obsolete. It makes it look cheesy. Because at the higher realm doses, it's not about ego games. It's not about dressing up in a robe and calling yourself a sorcerer. It's about walking in your sovereign power and recognizing all beings as being a part of the greater divinity that we are embedded inside of, and learning from the reflections of that energy as it is refracted through time and space to us in the form of another human being. This is not designed to be fun. This is designed to be a challenge, because there is so much that you don't know about yourself. And this is a place where you can come and learn. So anybody who comes to you in such a way that challenges you is challenging you for a specific reason. The universe is trying to get your attention so that you go and deal with things before they become an issue, as you have so experienced in certain situations where you felt hatred, betrayal, anger, anguish. Forgiveness would not exist in and of itself if it was not a sacred emblem of our respect and honor for our brothers and sisters. You've got to forgive one another, to respect that you are both divine. You are both God. That is a divine quality. It is embodiment of those qualities by stepping into Asar, by stepping into Sekhmet, by stepping into Isis and Ishtar and Hathor as energies in motion. But not in a narcissistic way to say, oh, I'm a priestess now. No, now you treat me as God and you bow down to me. No, it's to give that love and kindness and mutual respect and second chances to those of you who are incarnate at this time. To say, we remember each other. And this is what the mushroom has begun working on. The energy that is the higher dose momentum is not compatible with energy that is dense. If you are carrying any bags up to the higher dimensions with you, what's going to happen?
Weigh you down.
Yeah, you got to drop them bags. You got to zero out. You got to click C on the calculator and say, oh, I thought I had a problem. I stand corrected. My heart sounds right. My actions and my behaviors correlate with my mind, body, and spirit. So now when I strike with the power and the force of a god. Ahati means the one who strikes with the force of the gods. Is that correct? So how is it that you can strike with the force of the gods if you are not connected to the power of the gods? You've got to know who the gods are in yourself in order to strike with that force so they stand behind you. And it stacks behind you of ancestors who were also deified and so when you move, you're not just moving for yourself, you're moving with all the rest embedded inside of you. And so you know how to move in ways that your body was not taught, because that expression is an ancestral expression. It's a spiritual expression. And that's why Tamarian martial arts is a spiritual, technical martial art. It is not mundane in that there are people who are moving like animals. It is quantum in that the animal is moving through them. What lies on the other side of belief? We all have beliefs. I even came up with some. Many take mushrooms to control the outcome. That's intention. thinking that they set an intention and continuously try to solidify their result mentally, what could happen. And that's fantasy. Fantasies and mushrooms are a dangerous combination. Because you can fantasize. Oh, you can fantasize about a man or a woman. I've fantasized. I've dreamed beautiful dreams. Dreams that lull me so deep asleep, I could care less if I was awake. And that is not the point or the primary utilization of working with the mushroom. You can dream all you want to, but don't you dare get done with the dream and decide that everybody else has to play along with your illusion of what you created. You have not created it yet, i.e., doing the work is what creates reality. Imagining doing the work might be a drop in the bucket, but it is not going to make your fantasies come true without the daily, community-based interaction with those around you who were placed to help make the dream, the great work that was invented before you ever came into this reality, created out of the alignment of the entire chessboard and the chess piece on the chessboard. You think you're the queen, but you are so much more. You are not moving statically in one direction, to the left or to the right. You're moving in 5-dimensional, 10-dimensional directions from the subparticle into this reality, and a higher order of information and knowledge is getting brought back. You are pulling up. This is a Taoist movement that I just did. This is a part of my Taoist 4-pillar shamanism class I'm learning. Dr. William Welch taught this to me. So when I pull up, I'm pulling golden plasma up and I'm clearing your auric field, grounding yourself, but you are pulling golden plasma energy from Mother Earth and nourishing your body as you dust away the negative energy that has been attached to you for so long. That's not yours to carry. Don't dim your light. Don't get mad about it either. We're here to transmute. It's an alchemical dimension. We are here to learn to become masters of not what can be done, but what was done in the time before time, and bring that completely back to enrich this dimension with ancient knowledge. We're not trying to figure out what you can do. We're trying to figure out how to do what you used to do, and do it in such a way that we all benefit, all sentient beings benefit. This is not to selfishly learn how to do magic so you can be a powerful sorcerer and walk around like you are literal and figurative cow dung that the mushroom grows up out of. No, it's to be resurrected after eating the sacred mushroom that grows on the cow dung, and to live in one's truth, and to fly into other dimensions, and to resolve long-standing disagreements with oneself so that you can restore the family to its original beauty. Because we are all living in amnesia on some level. We know that this ain't our first time around. If this is your first time around, welcome. See you in 10,000 years. But it does not ever end. This experience is infinite. You don't die. The mushroom teaches you how to sacrifice yourself to yourself and let go. So when you inevitably do fall apart, because we're all impermanent, we're all wearing meat suits that are quantumly entangled with ancestral knowledge and cosmos, we keep the planets in orbit. Because we are stardust. We are quantumly entangled with this whole universe. But at the same time, on a very, very low level, one day you're going to be made of ash. One day you're going to be made of dust. And you need to decide how you're going to confront Zabala, how you're going to treat Anubis when he comes to pick the flesh from your bones. All of us have a day, and we don't know when that day is. So to be diligent in your work and treat this as seriously but as lightheartedly as we possibly can, knowing that we can celebrate our immortality through remembering who we are by interacting with each other and waking each other up. That's part of it. What might be a possible outcome if you simply allow the mushroom to control the experience? trust issues more often, our lives would get so much better. Misunderstandings that have gone on for months and months would disintegrate because it was fallacious reasoning. I misunderstood, so I reacted out of ego. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sincere, for reacting out of ego to you before as a student. I'm sorry, Father Mabel. Now, I promise I'll send you something. I took 3 months to send it. Who else I gotta apologize to? I apologize to everybody for showing up the whole day late. When you learn to say, I am sorry from a genuine point of view and make changes, you build relationships that are quantumly entangled with where you're going to end up 50 years from now. You ever seen kintsugi? Where they take a broken plate and they stitch it together with gold? That takes a lot of work. I met a kintsugi master when I went to Vancouver. I was mad I had to go to Vancouver. End up in Vancouver, then find myself at a tea house somewhere in Vancouver with a bunch of folks who are experts in kintsugi. They're telling me, yeah, this is how you make a staple. So you drill a little hole here. And I'm seeing quantum relationship. That's how you mend a relationship? You mend it with gold? I'm like, does he even know how deep this goes? Can you imagine if you took everything that you broke and you put it back together with gold, making it 10 times as valuable as it was when before it broke? That's love. That is a love story. And I am inspired by that love story. Every time I drink tea, I'm like, man, broke a dish? Okay, it's time to save up. Because that symbolizes something else I've broken that I need to be accountable to in my life. And to let go of my false sense of pride that prevents me from behaving as the ordained being that I was born as. There's nothing that prevents you from doing that but you. So this is a clip that I was taken from one of Bob's early lectures. It talks about African ethnography. The Western dualist model does not exist in Africa. There's no super conscious label versus ego label. There's no Western dualistic, oh, there's supernatural and there's natural. No, Baba Kilindi said this very simply. He said in Africa, the natural is the supernatural. There's no separation between what is natural and supernatural. It's all supernatural. And that's something that we don't really take into account when we're doing ceremonial rituals. You go take the bath, the girl says, I'm taking a spiritual bath. I need to go get me some spiritual cream. We are having an Africanized revolution of psychedelics in a Western colonialist country where materialism is valued over sincerity, where capitalism is valued over human dignity. And so we're coming into this and we're bringing our Western, ooh, yeah, okay, I got my bag here. I need to make my money here, okay. You know, all right, how am I going to do this and be honorable at the same time? And that's all right. If you do the work, you should never go hungry. If you really doing the work, then your work speaks for itself. You ain't got to go on Instagram ads and pay $20,000 to get some priest dressed up in a clown suit to call herself your shaman to make money. People are doing that. And that ain't right. Because I had a lady who was Russian come up to me, very affluent looking lady. She was a millionaire. I said, why is she talking to me? She was like, I went to this ceremony and my friend, she almost died. And she caught entity. I didn't know what entity is. It was dark energy, and the shaman just looked at her and ostracized her. I thought she was just playing dress up. It felt so theatrical to me. I was like, oh, so you saw it. You noticed that too. That was inauthentic. Can't nobody play around with spirits. I mean, they can, if they should. And not actually have a relationship. We have real shamans who have contended in the spiritual realm and have built agreements and have access to purification powers they can teach you to utilize on your own without their help. They don't keep you suckered in and addicted to what people see as your healing brand. as a $1.50 sandwich instead of as someone who's a brother and sister that we're going to share with authentically. We gotta eat. We gotta eat. But at the same time, when we start building bigger alliances like this group right here, this is a networking extravaganza. If you guys leave here without meeting someone who can benefit you spiritually as well as financially, then you just missed out. Because I guarantee someone has a connection that would be very complementary to what you're doing, and it's an equivalent exchange. It's not a materialistic exchange where you're like, oh, well, you know, if you go and buy my 6-week class online here, like, I stopped doing that. Can't nobody buy my classes online. Like, those who were there and saw it. I'm upping my game so that when it's offered for free, because the knowledge that I received did not come from me. It came from the mushroom and my higher self. It's not owned by Acacea. That it can benefit as many people as possible. And I have to do that to make my living. So when we look at the African continent, the uses, beliefs, and mythologies about hallucinogenic mushrooms come from the very ancient times, and they're very well preserved. Something about that we don't seem to understand is the times that this is coming from, the times when we built our own houses, where land didn't cost money. This is an issue that we're dealing with currently today. The reason why we have to be capitalistic or materialistic is because sometimes the price of rent is so high that we can't afford to eat and pay rent at the same time, doing what we love. So these are solutions that as a community, we've got to start working on. I got land in Mexico. Y'all want to move to Mexico? Yes. Come to Mexico. You want to rent something for $500 a month? Okay, we'll find a way to set up an online business that isn't messed up and get you straight, because that's what a lot of people are doing. Drop shipping, remote jobs, moving to other places, seeing other things, going back to Africa, taking care. Baba Buddha, you just came back from what, Kenya? You were speaking to a national council in Kenya? This is what we are capable of. But we get so comfortable with the average status quo lifestyle we get in the United States of air conditioning and, you know, having toilets that flush with water and going to nightclubs that we can't even stand. The entertainment sucks. If you go out in the Sahara Desert at night, that is the best entertainment that money can buy you. If you stand on the highest mountain in Oaxaca, Mexico, and watch dragons fly neon in the dark on mushrooms, that's some entertainment right there. It'll make your soul fly. But no, we would rather just go to Disneyland when we save up, because that's the best we gonna. No, for the price of going to Disneyland, you could be saving up to go to Spain, take a boat to Marrakesh. That's what I'm doing 3 weeks from now. Yes. My friend said, oh yeah, you just take the ferry straight to Africa. What? I could ferry from Spain to Africa in a day? Say less. What the heck is this?
Hey, man.
I just went from capitalism and economy to, oh my God, what the? Can anybody guess what this creature is? We gave reverence to it. This is our earliest ancestor. 540 million years old. This is what single-celled organisms that humans evolved from, or our earliest known ancestor on the planet, looks like. And you know what? So since we want to be judgmental, say, man, that thing got a couple eyes. Shit. We do too. We got several sets of eyes. We got 3 pairs exactly. Your physical eyes, your spiritual eyes, and your celestial eyes. And I can guarantee you, once you start seeing all 3 of them, things get a little different. And then we have the mushroom mask, the version. This is an ancestral reference mask. How come this got a big, round, open mouth? Since when you seen anybody open their mouth this big, Baba Mudu? You ever seen nobody? No? And a mushroom. When have you seen somebody with a brow ridge that sticks out like this? Like, just like that. Just like the mushroom, no? What's it trying to tell us? Because in my last trip, I became this character. I was floating on the water in bliss. I couldn't see. I didn't know what breathing was. But I was aware of my brothers and sisters, which were everything. I felt like I was in the primordial soup before eyes could see, when light was still a feeling, when it was a photoreceptor, electric, blissful energy shooting through my body. And I was whole. I shared happiness with all living beings. There was no, oh man, I didn't pay my bills this week. No, not that ancestor. This ancestor goes back to the time of Precambrian, pre-megafauna, pre-mushroom, 540 million years old. That's a long time. And I also saw this thing. And you know, we talk about the falcon. Who likes the falcon? I like the eagle. Who likes the eagle? Now, I'm hearing everybody talk about elephant bird that's got feet the size of tree stumps and stomps around like this.
Get it, Jason. Get it. Get it. Go get it. Yeah, break it down. Break it down. Break it down. Yeah.
These birds could dance. They would stomp, push up dust, peck their head, put their head down, do the roll. These were epic. These things are called elephant birds. When did they go extinct? Does anyone know? Yes. Huh? Yes. You know.
That's when the humans came on the planet.
Yes. This survived the megafauna extinction. This didn't go extinct till 1,200 years ago. What? This has been around in Kenya. In my last trip, I saw the Maasai honoring this bird. It's off the coast of Kenya in Madagascar. This thing could migrate because it had feet that could cross the ocean. All it had to do was swim like a duck. That thing was 10 feet tall. This and mushrooms is a dangerous combination for the damn. Oh my God. You watching a bird drumming up dust, pecking, grabbing, diving, that big, it's going to inspire something in you. It can't help it but. We can watch the little small birds, but this is the titan of birds. We ate it to death. That's how they died. 9,000 years humans coexisted along this bird in Africa. How come it's not in our history books? Tell me that. Since when have you guys heard of an elephant bird?
Yeah.
I saw it in my trip 2 nights ago. I didn't go in with the intention of seeing a bird. I didn't know that it existed. I was asking my partner when I came out, honey, I think I saw the first thing that wasn't real. She was like, what? I was like, it was like 10 feet tall. Like, what was? The bird. She was like, oh shit, here we go. Its mouth was the size wide as my head. Its beak was big and brown and shiny. I pulled a picture, she was like, an ostrich? I was like, no, that thing has evolved. That ain't what it used to be. Like an emu? Hell no. Not an emu. That thing looked like it reincarnated and got the DMT dream settings wrong. But this thing, they were our friends. They were friends of humans. They eat humans. They eat fungi. Anything that was eating and consuming fungi was also uploaded to the knowledge and database of the psilocybin mushroom. That's how people can take mushrooms and see dinosaurs. Remember in 2018, that lady gave a testimony about having never believed in dinosaurs before. And then in that lecture, she said, I saw plesiosaurs, I was swimming with them. I saw dinosaurs in the ocean for the first time. I could reach out to them. She didn't believe dinosaurs existed before. And then overnight, she has a trip, goes to the plesiosaurs, to the Cretaceous period, and sees them. I spent my time in college as an undergraduate researcher, along with astrophysics, cleaning the bones of plesiosaurs. Their neck was twice my body size. I saw a picture of me laying down next to one, because they found them in Dallas. 6 million years ago, 4 million years ago, all Texas was underwater. And that was right after the Younger Dryas comet hits the Earth. I believe the Gulf was one of the impact sites. And I believe that the spores were scattered even further of cubensis mushrooms, because you look around Texas coast, Mexico coast, that's where you find a big swath. Cuba, the first mushrooms were found, the Stropharia cubensis, were named in 1906 in Cuba. Then in 1949, the name was changed to psilocybin cubensis. But these mushrooms are extraterrestrial technology. We cannot prove they come from planet Earth. All we can prove is that they're old. Their spores can survive in the vacuum of space, and they have access to places that are, I won't say they don't exist on Earth. Maybe they exist in the infraparticle on Earth, but they are not in our visible, three-dimensional reality accessible without the use of the mushroom. That's another picture of it, just to give you an idea. It's got a little Bob on the side of its head. It's like Elvis. All right, and that's just to give you an idea of how many extinctions there were. There are 97 megafauna extinctions, number of sites with biomass burning proxies, YDB impact-related proxies. So that bird survived the Younger Dryas impact. Younger Dryas didn't start thawing out till 11,000 years ago. We're still thawing out. We're still at the end of an ice age. So where do we come from? They say that they trace the fossilized remains to a 540 million-year-old creature that's exquisitely preserved. If you find the dead bodies of these creatures, they look like deflated African masks. All of them. They have different sized features. Some of them have upside-down mouths that look like sharks. Some of them have inward, inverted faces. But it's our face. Can't judge it. You mean you can, but probably would help you to gain knowledge from it, because it was relaxed. We can't relax. We gotta learn from our earliest ancestor what relaxing and connecting feels like. What is letting go when you don't have a body? Meditate on that. Fungi evolved 900 million years ago. They developed in the same aquatic environments from eukaryotic single-cell protists. That's what they're saying here. 50% of our DNA is fungi. I wrote a poem. Said, go talk to the plankton. Go and speak to the fungi and let them tell you that we are brothers. We are family. Fungi are more closely related to humans than our other microorganisms like bacteria and viruses. That's why we get sick from them. Since when? We hear about fungal infections, but how many times have you heard about a fungal infection that took over somebody's body and killed them? That's very rare. But we hear about bacterial and viruses killing tons of people. The fungi don't have beef with us because we're related. It's an entangled system. And we're also electric beings. So this is how we can communicate with them, through the piezoelectricity on bone. You ever seen bone stacking? What I'm doing right here is called bone stacking. You're going to go ahead and tilt your pelvis under, close your sphincter, breathe in naturally, and your bones are going to align with each other as you relax your legs. And that creates piezoelectric key flow, or key energy flow. You can feel rising up your spine and then pushing out. In Bagua, we have a technique called the hum ha. You guys want to see it? Mm-hmm. Kind of loud. So first we breathe all the way in, and we absorb energy from our environment, pull it into the lower diaphragm. We do it again, and then we go to the right. Hum! Then we go forward. Ha! Then we go to the left. Hum! And then we go to the front and the left. Ha! And this helps build that, just heat my body up right there. Like I'm starting to break a sweat. That technique right there, the hum ha technique, is pushing your energy out to your extremities, so the four tips, the hands and the feet. Once you start doing that, you start feeling your whole body, and then you start doing strange things like following the breath. Has anyone followed the breath before? wherever it goes. I am consciously breathing in. Oh, my consciousness went there. Ooh. Consciousness came out. I'm consciously breathing in. Whoa, it came down to here. Okay, I need to breathe deeper. I'm consciously breathing in. Oh, I just followed it down even further. Now it's getting into the stomach, into the lower abdomen. Whoa, I can feel it go all the way down to my lower dantian. Now I'm consciously breathing out. Wow. I'm starting to feel my throat wake up. I'm starting to put my awareness in my nostrils. Okay, let me consciously breathe in a little deeper. Let me feel the inside of my nasal canal. Now you feel the inside of my throat. Now you feel the inside of my bronchioles. Now you feel my lungs expand from the inside. You're fueling your consciousness up inside of your body, and that's creating an energy flow. And what you can do with that energy flow is martial arts. And you can also travel with that energy flow, because that flow is also the energy in motion that is the awakening, or the Kundalini awakening, as some people say. Some say the birth of Quetzalcoatl. But that energy of the cerebral spinal fluid in motion that's going, wrapping around the brain, coming all the way to the front of the eye, and then cycling and washing your brain with that psilocybin until you finally are able to leave your physical body and soar and travel on your breath. So, if for those who don't know that bioenergy is a thing, scientists coax this tadpole to form a third eye on its tail, just changing the order of negative ions inside the blueprint of the tadpole. And they showed a video. Before it had eyes, it had a blueprint of clusters of energy. And they say that, oh, subtle energy doesn't matter. Well, bioelectricity is subtle energy. It's just called by a different name. Scientists were able to shoot negative ions at the tail of the tadpole and create a blueprint for an eye, and the body of the tadpole reacted by literally creating an eye. No stem cell injection, no surgery required. They are just able to change and shift the blueprint a little bit, and so you can regrow whole limbs doing this process. That's what they're testing. Michael Levy, the biologist, thinks cell bioelectricity can decide what we want to become. So the sooner you learn how to control the bioelectricity inside your body beyond being a Reiki master, that's just the tip of the iceberg. 3,000 years from now, I'd be like, oh yeah, we always knew that Reiki was a predecessor to the possibility of growing, from aesthetics, but we hadn't tested it in a laboratory, so we didn't tell the public. That's what it's probably going to be like, because the human body is an electromagnetic frequency generator. Our hearts generate that frequency. So back to what I was saying, if you do not let go of anything that is an obstruction to that electromagnetic frequency coming forth and entering your natural environment, then your heart will not be at the right frequency that people can feel your ashe even across the room. And that's what you want. So I'm not going to talk about infraparticle stuff in this lecture. We're not there yet. But I am going to talk about the heart, because I want to stay on this. How much time do I have left, Caleb?
It's like what we're talking about.
All right. Yeah. Heart-brain coherence from Psychology Today. Research is proving that the heart may be as intricate as the brain, referred to as the little brain. The gut is just another brain as well, the third brain, if you will. You have trips where you see with the third eye, you think you're doing something, and then all of a sudden the heart opens up and you find out you haven't been doing nothing at all. And then the gut opens up, you're like, wow, they're all in balance? Wow. Because now your serotonin is balanced, your heart and your mind. Your mind is controlled by your gut just as much as your thoughts. Your thoughts aren't really controlled by your mind. You think they are, but sometimes those are hormones being translated into feelings, and those feelings manifest into thoughts. And those hormones are being sent by bacteria that are feeding on you. And the parasites that are within you. You hear parasites all the time, but why are parasites bad? Because the ideal environment for a parasite in the human body is depressed, sugared up, feeling very anxious or angry, because these are the behaviors that release hormones that signal and trigger the bacteria your most private thoughts in order to gain information, just like ads kind of just pop up. Bing, 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 bing. You wonder why you're trying to get something done, and all of a sudden you get a distraction. Man, I gotta eat something. Oh yeah, I gotta get this done. Oh man, I gotta eat something. Then you get irritated with yourself because you're going back and forth till finally you're just like, just give me some sugar. I feel better. You know, Homer Simpson syndrome. That's where the majority of Americans today are at, is having parasites, giving the parasites to their children, or the bad bacterial balance to their kids, the kids developing the same mental illnesses that are a result of having bacterial illnesses that are related to bipolarism, that are related to schizophrenia, that are related to developmental disorders that would not have developed otherwise if the parent had had a healthy diet or had gone through some sort of anti-parasitic cleansing prior to the child being born. And if you don't believe me, they're doing studies where they're replacing the stool of autistic children. I am a classified autistic person. Can you believe it? Mushrooms for you. I was completely nonverbal until I was age 15. I didn't really speak to anyone. When I spoke to my parents, I would tell lies because I did not want them to know what I was thinking, because I was used to being punished for giving my authentic thoughts. So it took me a long time of unmasking to get to the point where I could even tell my parents anything. And they still know very little about me because that whole age 16 to 21, I was not around. I left. I explored the mushroom because that was the only thing that kept me from killing myself. The stool transfer to your autistic children is, if your son is autistic, we can put him in a study where we'll take healthy stools from an individual who has eaten healthy food and put them inside your son so that the bacteria from the healthy child can procreate inside your child's stomach. And it's working. So if you don't believe me and you don't want somebody else's shit, then maybe you should clean your own. So with an electrical component 60 times greater, and electromagnetic energy field 5,000 times greater than the brain's, the heart has a significant influence on the body down to a cellular level. This is what we call yotio. Yotio. That's T-E-O-T-L. That is the impersonal natural force of spirit that is in all living things, in all dimensions, that we are the personality of. The universe is encapsulated in the human form. We are humans that are in disguise, according to Aztec philosophy. The yotio is said to be the key to the deified heart. You do not become deified until your heart becomes deified. That means until your heart dies and is reformed pure and clean. And that is something that you experience on mushrooms, is sometimes what feels like physical death. You may be sitting there thinking, if I don't ever get up off this bed, I'm going to forget everybody. But my mama sees the statistics, she's going to know I was a drughead. I'm calling my mama. I haven't called her in 3 years. Oh my God. Daddy, I'm so sorry. I called my mom on 10 grams and said, Mom, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. You're so beautiful. I've never seen you beautiful. I love you. And she was like, okay. All right, that's fine. Call me back later. You know, they already knew something messy was going on. They didn't know what drug I was on, but I called her back. I told her it was mushrooms. She was like, I wouldn't know. Of all the drugs, mushrooms is the last. I thought you wouldn't want to find out about yourself. So, you know, that's where you're at. So that is the physical ritual of going through the chamber of death, the room of the triple thick darkness, where you don't know if you're going to come out the same. And you don't come out the same, because the decisions that you make there determine the outcome of who you become when you exit the experience. So you can't tell me that the heart is not a variable in the mushroom experience. It is a sacrifice that you make to the sun god. And that sun god represents the forgiveness and the compassion and the divine qualities that you should be embodying. And then you become that power, that raw power. Because the electromagnetic field of the sun is connected to the electromagnetic field of the earth, which is connected to the electromagnetic field of the what? The heart. Directly to the heart and the brain, but primarily to the heart. The deified heart is unveiled as intelligent physical power of love, joyfulness, gratitude, kindness to your spiritual soul life. This is a unique, intelligent bodily awareness stemming from 40,000 neurons in your heart. So this is something the Heart Math Institute came up with. This is a really easy exercise. Y'all want to know how to have a good mushroom trip?
Yes.
Yeah? Really good one? Heart hologramming. Would any of the following be desirable in your life? Wake up each morning knowing that when the day is done, I will be happier, healthier, and smarter. You want that?
Yes.
I want to be happier, healthier, and smarter. No matter what happens in my life, I will see the good in everything and everyone. That one's a hard one. Do you think you can see the good in everything and everyone, or y'all still want to?
Explore that a little bit more, because we are judgmental as human beings.
Don't leave me right now. But yes, I will. That's why this is a heart hologramming technique. I will do one beautiful thing to help our plant each day for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Point zero technique. This tool is to entrain the heart. Entrainment is what happens when 7 grandfather clocks are in a room, and all of a sudden the pendulum starts swinging in the same direction because of the electromagnetic frequency from the Big Bang, from the point of inception. All the grandfather clocks will be set in different times, but they're all going to start swinging at the exact same frequency because of the EMF they give off. You can entrain your mind and your heart to be in alignment to these values. So it says, step 1, go to a place of inner ease deep in your heart. Still your mental and emotional energy. Now that's hard right there. A lot of you guys are going to stop at that step, and that's fine. Take your time. This is not a race. This has taken me, I don't know, I've been starting meditating for 7 years. I just hit the point of breakthrough on my mushroom trip this week, to the point where I could see things like a clear stream flowing through my body with details of stones and leaves and stuff. I always wanted to see that. I was like, no, I want to see clear things. I want to have clarity. Well, I didn't want to do the work and have the discipline. You post something about discipline. I like that. I had the discipline to wake up at 5 a.m. every day and do Bagua energy exercises and release any luggage I'm carrying. I have the self-discipline to do my Samaya every single day, which is my sacred promise to the laws of reality itself. That could be different for all of you, but if you have the discipline to keep up with it, you're going to dig a deeper hole. So a lot of folks who are saying, oh, I'm going to do this practice, you're digging shallow holes, but you're not getting anywhere. Or you're getting somewhere, but it's going to take you so long because you've got 10 different things you're trying to be a specialist in. Specialize in 1 or 2 major things and then become unstoppably intelligent and focused and helpful to your community in those arts. So don't seek out any experience, just be. This is my #1 recommendation for people taking mushrooms. Don't seek out any experience, just be. And that's hard enough. Radiate love to any judgments about you, others, or situations to help neutralize the energy and clear out roadblocks that hinder spirit. And a lot of us do the fake it till you make it. I can't stand that person, but oh my God, I'm going to say, oh, I love them. I appreciate you. It hurts to think that. Oh, you know, and finally it's going to break through some shit. And you're going to be like, man, I felt good. Man, I really hope they have a great day. Man, I really hope they feel okay. Man, you know what? I hope that we can be friends again. I really hope so. And be genuine about it. Be genuine about it. Stay focused on the inner stillness while consciously breathing love and peace into the environment. Gently excuse any positive or negative thoughts that come up, knowing that you can entertain them another time. Patience is something that a lot of people lack. You lack patience with yourself. You feel one thought, oh no, I'm not thinking that, and then finally you just start napalming it. You start using tantric arts to try and delete all the negative thoughts coming to you. Be in symbiosis with your thoughts. And if any thoughts come up, let them go. Deal with them another time. You can entertain them another time. They're thoughts. They come from you, not the other way around. Hopefully, they're not just popping up like pop-ups. Then you can probably use an anti-parasitic or ayahuasca cleanse or Cambo or snake venom. I don't know, whatever it is that you're working with. But the 4th step is really important. Visualization is the most underused tool. Who was there for that trip where the brother did not know how to visualize? Were you there in New York? You went to a brother?
Everybody else.
Everybody else went? Who was everybody else?
I think Red,
Where's Fred?
he's
outside.
So we went to New York and sat with a brother who gave us mushrooms, and then someone else in the room was saying, why am I seeing birds flying? I don't see no birds flying. I said, well, that's visualization. He said, I don't do that. Like, wait, you've never seen anything? No, never. Ever? Like, ever? He was like, no, never, ever. Some people don't have access to the same visualization skills as other people. And that's why it's very important for you to build these skills before you enter the mushroom space. There's one basic thing in shamatha in Buddhism we practice is visualizing one Tibetan seed syllable, the Om syllable. That thing's so hard, and by the time I got the point, I was in tears. Oh my God. I want to give it away so bad, but I do not want to take away that opportunity, that aha moment from you. Shamatha is visualizing meditation. You are simply trying to actualize the actual curve of a seed syllable down to every detail effortlessly. And once you get that, you start to see different layers of yourself that you didn't think could ever exist. The hell, I thought there was a hologramic celestial body inside of me that was connected to everybody else's celestial body. I thought I was segment for a while. Shit. I didn't know that there were higher levels of divine consciousness than the first divine consciousness that showed up to me. I thought that the gig was up the second I became God. Hell nah, there are levels to this. There are levels. Love, peace, and stillness, casually we focus. Casually we focus on breathing love and peace into the stillness. If you can get to step 4 on mushrooms, it will change your life forever. That one trip. Just doing these 3 steps. 1, go to a place of inner ease in your heart, still your mental and emotional energy. If you can master your mental and emotional energy, just that one thing, it'll open so many doors for you. 2, radiate love to any judgments about you, others, or situations to neutralize the energy. That's neutralizing anything that's blocking your heart. And like you said, we are judgmental beings is a myth. In Africa, I guarantee you that the elders down there would not consider judgment as being a human quality that all humans should possess. It's something we have learned. And just like we've learned it, we can unlearn it, respectfully speaking. I want to unlearn judgment. I want to relearn authenticity. The 3rd is stay focused on the inner stillness while consciously breathing love and peace into the environment. That's hard because a lot of your own stuff's going to come up first. And if you can't just stay in that space, like the purification work is where everyone gets hung up because you want to see yourself as pure so bad, but you don't believe it. And because you don't believe it, you keep bringing up stuff that you should have already dealt with 17 years ago. 10 years ago, yesterday. It's not that you're not believable or convincing to yourself. It's the fact that it is impossible to forgive yourself when you're not forgiving other people. Forgive everyone, and ye shall be forgiven. That was the password that the crystal that Baba Kilindi Iyi gave me. In 2016, 2017, that was the stone, the transdimensional crystal, that opened up and started taking me to other dimensions. If you don't forgive everyone, literally, there will be something that stands in your way in regards to yourself because it's quantumly entangled with your inner universe. It's inner, it's so entangled that you can't untie one knot while pulling one end tighter. You are the end of both knots. So if you're pulling on one end saying, I don't want to let this go, and you're like, oh, but I want to forgive myself. It's like, what the heck? How am I pulling myself tighter from both dimensions? It's because you've gathered the knowledge of self enough to know that you are connected to all beings, but you have not gathered the purity enough to let go all judgment for all beings. You're still judging yourself on some level or somebody else, and that's going to keep pulling that knot tighter. And you gotta pull it from the middle. And the only way to pull it from the middle is to obey both laws, both natural laws. As if you are both attracting and pushing away, that you also have to pull and repel those behaviors negatively. You have to use physics inside of your own consciousness to get out of some boxes that we put ourselves in unconsciously. And that's the thing about it, because a lot of people want to say fault. Oh, well, it's my fault. I did this to myself. Well, it's not that easy. We're humans. This is part of it. This is not an accusation. This is not saying that nobody's better. Everybody's on a different space in their own path. We just get to share little tidbits of insights that we receive as we go along. So this is me saying my tidbit. My shit still stinks. I'm working on this too. This is not an easy process, and it doesn't happen overnight. There's no end to it. There's no end healed. There's no hashtag I'm done with healing, because something will happen in your life that will force you back into doing the work. And that's part of it. That's part of the great work, because it isn't just about you. It's about us. It's a we thing. It's a we thing. And so this is a picture of a Vogel quartz crystal. It shows you, just looks just like the heart. It's got electromagnetic frequency. It shows you 6 hertz goes in, 60 comes out, 600 goes in, 6,000 comes out. It's an amplifier. Mr. Ankaru.
I was going to get it.
Yeah, he's got that's an even bigger amplifier. So you got several amplifiers, and you got other crystal amplifiers inside amplifiers. So you got like a quadruplicate amplifier with his work. If you need more key energy to heal your body, you can either generate it or you can receive it. Both work, but they work best together. This is a Vogel. This is very, very rare. I feel honored to be holding this right now. This stone right here, you can see layers of holographic information that has been preserved. Scientists are just now finding out that time crystals exist. Well, this is also a time crystal. We weren't there 400 million years ago when each molecule started binding together in the heat of 4,000 degrees to create this crystal. But these inclusions that were created and self-healed inside the stone contain pockets of information that was etched in the growing process and the inception of this stone 4 million years ago. And these stones are able to connect consciously with our hearts. I can feel the field right now, kind of opening up around my heart. And depending on where you position it, you'll find a sweet spot where eventually, well, oh, that's why they move like that. Let me balance. And you'll start moving and then pulling the energy into your body and feeling it hit your heart. And then you'll start moving and realigning different things inside of your body, using a crystal to send energy into specific organs and clean them out. Here, I'm gonna stop water for you. Thank you. But yes, this is real work. And no, it's not some imaginary force, key energy. Electromagnetic frequency is real, scientifically proven, and it obeys both laws. The law of entropy and the law of entrainment. Our bodies want to tune in to the vibrational frequency of the quartz. And depending on what it's doing, what frequency we're feeding into is being amplified by the angles and the mathematics of the Vogel crystal and other crystals. It doesn't have to just be Vogel, but this one is one of the most efficient. You can look up Vogel crystals and find out even more about it. Those are saying crystals that give up 32,768 pulses inside of a quartz crystal clock. That's what's in your watch on your wrist if you have one. All right, so do I have enough time?
Not really.
Not really.
I love
All
it.
right.
Keep it moving.
So I'll save that for another lecture. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to leave it at the end with Abhinavagupta. The yogi should abide firmly fixed in his own nature by the power of the exertion of expanding consciousness. Thus he is established on the plane of bliss, relishing the objects of sense that spontaneously appear before him. Perfected siddhas are steadfastness, the supreme mudra, the perfect and unobstructed expansion of the awakened. This is what you have to look forward to if you're diligent in this work. Thank you.